I'm Robert Scoble, and Mark Zuckerberg has left a gaping void in the industry by not doing an iPad app. And today I'm talking to Loytr, who has already gotten 3 million customers on the iPad with their new Facebook app called MyPad. Who are you?
My name's Cole Ratias. I'm CEO and co-founder of Loytr, which makes MyPad for the iPad, which is a Facebook client for iPad. I graduated from Berkeley EECS, started my first company there where we were actually doing $60 eCPM, doing sort of a sweepstakes marketplace. Then I co-founded Fwix, which is real-time local news, and now I'm working on Loytr with Christian.
Who are you?
My name is Christian Carrasco. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Loytr Inc. Also work with Cole on MyPad, Facebook for iPad. I moved here a couple years ago from the East Coast, worked at a couple small startups doing mobile, worked at larger telecoms. Last gig was at a mobile gaming company. And then I teamed up with Cole and we busted out MyPad.
Very cool. We're here in the Dogpatch Labs, which is where Instagram started. First of all, what's been happening to you guys since you launched in January, right, or end of December?
Yeah, we wanted to come out right after Christmas. Some of the marketing money had dried up in theory. So we actually submitted right after iTunes Connect shut down for the holidays. As soon as they opened back up, we were immediately in the App Store for download on December 29th. Thought we'd take a short break and maybe go to Tahoe, and checked back a couple hours later and already had a few 100,000 impressions through the ad networks. So within, I think, 2 days, we were #1 in social networking. Within 5 days, we were #1 in the entire App Store for iPad.
Cool. And today you're shipping a new version, right?
We are, yes. MyPad 2 is the completely native rewrite. We listened to a lot of what the users had to say, what they were looking for in the new version and what they were requesting. And so we rebuilt it from the ground up.
And what is there any difference between you and the Facebook webpage? You know, if you just use Safari and go to facebook.com?
So the first version, MyPad 1.0, did actually use touch.facebook.com as sort of the backbone. We also used a lot of native functionality to do the sort of sliding windows that people have really liked. But it did actually start with the touch.facebook.com interface. The new version is completely independent of that, which we think is a good idea.
Why would somebody use a client instead of just going to the web page?
There are a lot of things that we've built from the ground up to be a lot more familiar. You'll notice our calendar is similar to your iPhone calendar. The interface is friendlier. We can allow you to do swiping within photos in a high performance way. We can do hardware accelerated graphics and a lot more of the performance that you can't really get out of a native, or excuse me, an HTML client.
Can you show me a little bit about what it looks like? And
so this is actually the first version of the app. You can see that when you tap on pretty much any content, whether that's a photo, video, someone else's profile, it actually slides in a new layer on top of the previous layer, so you can quickly go back and forth if you want to. The new interface actually allows you to sort of multitask at the same time and view both pages at the same time.
Let's see the new one.
Of course, we do pull down to refresh, which is a big request. But also, you're quickly able to see her profile as well as the other, my news feed, go into photos. You know, I think half of Facebook users log in every single day, so, you know, there was some initial concern that power users would be sort of the ones that would benefit most from this. But, you know, in reality, I think almost everyone that uses Facebook is really a power user. So, you know, quickly switching between different things is something that's important to those people. And, you know, on the website, you have to go to new tabs, and going back is sort of cumbersome. We think that we found an interesting way to do that with these sliding panels. So I can see all of her photos. It's easier, it's more fun, and you get sort of the full screen rich experience that you would expect from an iPad.
Yeah. Tell me how long it took to rewrite that, and did you do a complete rewrite of version 2?
So the rewrite from going from our non-native to native version was roughly, I'd guesstimate, about a month. A lot of that work was basically doing all of the native components and whatnot.
Was this your first Objective-C project?
My experience prior was developing for Android and Windows Mobile. So when I teamed up with Cole to work on MyPad, I basically dove into iOS.
Since you're one of the few developers I've talked to that's built for all three platforms, what do you like about each one? And are you an iOS fan now as a developer, or?
That's actually it's almost a loaded question. It almost breaks down into like the Mac versus PC camp. At first I really embraced Android because they had this openness that they always kind of promote. And that tends to also be a detractor from the actual platform, because what you have is fragmentation of the OS. So when I dove into iOS, I really enjoyed it much more because they give you a lot more tools up front to build really rich interfaces. And since Android's coming from a company that's more web-based, they have a more web-based approach towards programming, even the programming language that's used. So for the time being, I do prefer iOS.
This seems pretty heavily influenced by the Twitter client. Is there anything that you're proud of that you innovated and came out with something new in here?
Yeah, actually, well, there's the photo. Actually, the recent addition was chat. So this version is sort of in between of the two. So one of the things that we discovered about Facebook users is they really use, at least Facebook for iPad, for chatting, checking messages, posting updates, and they really like to change their avatars. The browsing experience is also important, but we've discovered that they like to do many other things that are more one-off passive. So with the chat client, for example, you can quickly see your buddy list, just bring up a conversation, say, hey, I'm here talking, it's kind of awesome. Pick someone else, chat with them, go back to your other conversation, remove them from the chat.
And then you can quickly dismiss and get back to browsing Facebook, sharing things, etc.
That's really nice, and you can see the power of an iOS client instead of the web, because the web I'd have to go from like my feed to my profiles to my chat, or I have to have multiple tabs open. Here I'm just boom, 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 able to do them all at the same time.
Oh, we were actually using Facebook's chat before, where you go to basically that full screen page, and it's really hard to maintain. It's not a really good experience for mobile devices, so we came up with this. And what that displays is one-offs, basically, things that you just want to do quickly, along with browsing Facebook, and that's the direction that we're going in. And this is
allowing you to see who's online without, or if you've gotten a message without having to necessarily switch over to that.
You were bringing up the photo thing. Show me photos a little.
Yeah, so photos we have rewritten to be, again, a native experience. So the previous version, you were able to sort of go one at a time. We've now allowed you to swipe through the entire album here on the side while still seeing the large photo in front.
Since I have an Apple TV, have you thought about a way to get photos onto my Apple TV from this experience?
Right now we're focused on iPad, but very shortly we're launching an iPhone client, and then Android and handset and tablet. Okay. So Apple TV will maybe be in the cards after all those.
Okay.
Almost by default, since Apple has that ecosystem that's interconnected, you get a lot of freebies. It's not something that I think we've at least verbally chatted about yet.
Can you use AirPlay to push a photo onto the TV?
We could, yes.
Because that's how I want it to work. I want to look through all my friends' photos and then say, show that on the big screen so everybody in the room can see the photo, right?
Yeah, so that would take a little bit extra work. I mean, built in you get streaming audio. If you're basically watching a YouTube video, that can stream to your stereo. Yeah. So pretty soon it will be streaming content from here to your device, your TV.
We actually can, so that's interesting. So we actually can do AirPlay for the videos already, photos not yet.
Okay, cool. And this is this a free app, or does this cost money?
We have both. The paid app removes the advertisements.
Okay. And how much is it?
It's 99 cents.
Ah, cheap. You guys making enough to pay for your $500 tables here at Dogfish Labs?
They have been very kind to us here. So,
inside joke, we already interviewed, in a separate interview, we interviewed the guy who runs this, and he rents the tables for $500 a month, right?
Yep. Revenue is strong. But we've also raised a seed round.
Cool. Anything else you want to show me?
One of the other things that you can't get out of an HTML client is the ability to interact with the hardware as well. So we can actually allow you to upload photos, videos, download them to your device as well, where you wouldn't be able to do so from the website.
Can you use on the iPad too? Can you use the camera that's in the?
Yep. There are other competitors out there. Facebook is just sort of the first step in what we're building. We're actually building a gaming platform on top of this client so that you can actually play both native and HTML5 games directly in the MyPad experience. So we're going to be announcing that and actually launching that in the next couple weeks.
Okay.
We already have 4 major game partners signed up.
Wow. So the MyPad version 2 can support the new gaming platform?
Absolutely. They will both include the gaming platform.
Okay.
So when you download it, you'll actually be able to play the games that we've included with the platform if you choose. If not, you can continue to browse Facebook the way you normally would.
If I'm a game developer, how do I get my game into MyPad?
Cole at loytr.com.
Okay, so make a deal with you and then get it in there.
Exactly.
It should be an Objective-C or an HTML5 game?
We have tools set up for both.
That's interesting. And you'll do a revenue share and stuff like
Exactly.
that?
Exactly.
Interesting. All right. A friend of mine is building a game company, so I
Absolutely. We'd love to speak with them. There's sort of 2 types of games that have done extremely well in the App Store. One is sort of the arcade, the Angry Birds and skee ball, things of those natures. The other is the social games, which have a problem distributing and maintaining themselves in the charts because it's sort of built for freshness. You see new apps sort of pop and drop very quickly. We were lucky enough to sit at #1 for I think 5 days in the peak of the App Store right after Christmas, which was great. But even after that, it doesn't matter how many people we have continuing to access the app every single day, which is substantial. And we actually have, I think it's over 3.5 million minutes a day of usage inside of our application. But for game developers, it's hard to keep that distribution when most people never get beyond a very low level in the game. And so what our platform is aiming to do is help with that distribution as well as the monetization and engagement, where you can see what your friends are playing and actually very quickly and easily be able to engage with them in those games or through Facebook and make some money, we hope.
Very cool. Well, game developers certainly are, the Angry Birds are set because they always are at the top, but there's a lot of games.
But there are still 600 million Facebook users that, you don't know when you're playing those games the way you do with Zynga. And there's a lot of opportunity that even though they're doing extremely well, they still haven't really tapped into the social elements that, Zynga's making billions of dollars on at this point. So, how can you leverage that within our platform? And that's what we're looking to solve.
Are you able to put notifications inside the app then, so a game can say, hey, your turn, for instance, if you're playing a Scrabble style game?
Exactly, and we're allowing the users to control that granularity, so if they want to receive those alerts, then that's an option. If they don't, then that's certainly their choice as well.
Very cool. What did, my friend who's building a game, how many APIs does he have to learn to get to build rebuild his game for your platform, I guess?
Right. That's a great question.
We're finishing up the API to make it easy for any developer to either launch or embed their application within MyPad.
Okay. But there's some special things that your platform offers, like notifications, right?
Right.
They would have to learn to use, right?
We're looking to make that as seamless and effortless for them as possible. There are certain things that we do that actually hook into their existing framework. So notifications, for example, they don't need to rewrite anything. There are some elements that are involved to actually get the game in the application, and we're only signing up a select number of partners to do that. We already have a bit of a backlist for it.
Okay.
But that's going to be changing over time as we grow the team.
And then do you hook into Game Center as well? So do you report like high scores and stuff out to Game
Not
Center?
at this time.
Although
Cool.
if the game, actually if they embed the game, if the game is registered with Game Center, then that game can report with Game Center. So we're trying to leave that part open, and we consider ourselves a way to give game developers that might not be interested in creating social graphs or how they would connect to a social graph, and we provide them with that opportunity.
Very cool. Well, thanks. Where do we learn more about you guys and your new game platform?
The best way to find out information is actually through Facebook. Our app page is MyPad for iPad. Just search for us there, and we give updates and let you know when the new versions are available and everything else, including our launch party, belated launch party later tonight.
Very cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks a lot, Robert.
I'm Robert Scoble, and Mark Zuckerberg has left a gaping void in the industry by not doing an iPad app. And today I'm talking to Loytr, who has already gotten 3 million customers on the iPad with their new Facebook app called MyPad.
My name's Cole Ratias. I'm CEO and co-founder of Loytr, which makes MyPad.
My name is Christian Carrasco. I'm the co-founder and CTO of Loytr Inc. Also work with Cole on MyPad.
Within, I think, 2 days, we were #1 in social networking. Within 5 days, we were #1 in the entire App Store for iPad.